Hi, everyone. I know it's raining, so we'll try to make sure that we hurry up. Actually, no, I'm not going to hurry up because this is really exciting. I'm excited to be here today with Supervisor Fewer and some of the residents of this apartment that we're standing in front of today to talk about how amazing the small site acquisition program is in San Francisco and what we've been able to accomplish here. This is absolutely amazing. And let me tell you, when our former Mayor Ed Lee served as mayor, he really understood in numerous conversations we had around the challenges with affordable housing that it wasn't just about building new affordable housing, which we so desperately need. It was also about remembering people who live in apartment buildings like this, people who live in affordable housing all over San Francisco, and the challenges that exist with not only maintaining those facilities, but making sure that they are available and remain safe and affordable for so many residents who sometimes could get displaced when these buildings go on the market. That's why this small sites acquisition program is so important. And no one on the Board of Supervisors has been a stronger supporter of this program than Supervisor Sandy Fewer. She continues to twist my arm to say, look, we haven't been able to do a lot around investments in affordable housing in my district on the west side of town. So we need to do more to invest in small sites because that's an opportunity to help stabilize low-income families who live in these apartment buildings all over the west side who oftentimes are not getting the support that they need. And so this is really amazing. We will be protecting 12 affordable homes. This is our second small site on the west side of town. And we have not only invested millions of dollars in the past year's budget to help support small sites, because of the voters of San Francisco passing a $600 million affordable housing bond, we will invest another $30 million in small site acquisition. So absolutely amazing. Now, to date, we've acquired 35 buildings with 290 units in the Sunset, in the Mission, in the Excelsior, in Soma, in Haight-Ashbury, and Richmond neighborhood. An additional 15 buildings with 137 total units are in the pipeline. That's $135 million of city funds that have been committed to help support 500 residents in San Francisco. Absolutely amazing. I want to thank Meta, and I know we have someone who's going to be speaking on their behalf later today, for being our amazing community partner, because the city can invest the funds, but unless we have partners and people who are willing to do the work, then we can't get this done in a timely manner. And oftentimes these projects are timely. So we are so grateful for the partnership with Meta, and we are really grateful for the San Francisco Housing Accelerator Fund, and they're going to be talking in just a minute. And finally, I want to thank the residents of 369 3rd Avenue for their patience and their excitement over this and trusting the city to work with us to make this happen. And I know Dan Adams is here from the Mayor's Office of Housing. Thank you to you and your team, Dan, for doing such amazing work around affordable housing every single day. So with that, I want to introduce the supervisor for this district and the biggest advocate in San Francisco for small site acquisition, ladies and gentlemen, Supervisor Fewer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So first I want to start off by saying a big thanks to a lot of people. Meta, of course, coming out here and buying this property for us and managing it. This is a gift. I know it's out of your geographic area. Thank you so much for coming out here and keeping these homes here. To our mayor, of course, Madam Mayor, thank you so much, and also to MOHCD for actually helping us with this. It actually takes everyone together to save these sites. The San Francisco Housing Accelerator Fund, we couldn't have done it without you. And of course, our rock star tenants of 369 3rd Avenue, Chloe Jackman and Laura Nuno. And I just want to say, this is why we are able to do this, and this is why we do this. But I also really want to thank the Housing Rights Committee. You know, we have a West Side site. They're our partners in everything. They're the first people we go to when we hear about a building that's going to be for sale. When people email our office and say, help, my building's being sold, I don't know what to do, I've lived here for 44 years, we call HRC, and we are our partners together in keeping our residents stable. So I don't want to correct the mayor, but if I could just this once, this is actually the third site in the Richmond District, and all of them since I've become, yes, thank you.
There's two here and then one over there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we have one on 17th Avenue, which we saved. That was the first one. Seniors in that building. Again, people who have lived in our Richmond District for like over 40 years. Another one, we're actually at 9th and Clement, where Hamburger Haven is. The mayor was there, actually welcoming us there and celebrating the acquisition of 14 units, an SRO unit inhabited by Chinese Americans that are seniors. One lady, I think, was 98 years old, and now they can live, they've lived there for over 25 years, and now they continue to live there for the rest of their lives. And then, of course, this is our third. We know in the Richmond District, this is the strategy that we are going to use to keep people stabilized and keep these wonderful families and the residents of the Richmond right here in the Richmond, in the district in which they choose to live, in which they love, and we love having them too. And so I want to also, again, say thank you to Meta, because without Meta, we could not have done this. You know, we have lost 500 units of affordable housing units in my district alone in the last 10 years. When we can acquire buildings like this that are already built, that already have tenants in them, and tenants who love our district, and that we love having them here too, this is a perfect combination. This is something we can do as a city. This is something we should be doing more of. And our office has worked very hard, as the mayor just mentioned, about getting more money for it and also to acquire more sites. Earlier this year, we penned some legislation called COPA, the Community Opportunity to Purchase Act, and that just gives these organizations like Meta first bite at the apple before it goes on to the market. So it gives these nonprofits a real chance to buy them first. But we need on the west side to create our own organization like Meta, so we can preserve more of these buildings and keep more of our Richmond neighbors in their homes. So with funding from Assembly Member Phil Ting, we received a grant to actually come together and create our own west side nonprofit, so we can buy more of these buildings all on the west side, not just in my district, but also in the Sunset. So we authored legislation that will also put more money every year into this site for affordable housing. So now we've got a plan. We are on our way. We hope to keep more people in their homes in the Richmond and keep my residents stable here. 65% of my neighbors here are renters. They are vulnerable in this housing market. And I just want to thank everyone for making this happen. And this is indeed a great celebration on this rainy day, but during this holiday season, that these wonderful residents in my neighborhood no longer have to worry. For 99 years, this will be affordable. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Supervisor Fewer. And it was really smart for you to put your remarks in this plastic thing to keep it from the rain. So next, one of the partners, in order to address this, I mean, some of you know how critical I am of the city bureaucracy and how long it takes to get anything done. And so that's why this partner is so important, because the San Francisco Housing Accelerator Fund, they kick into action, they help us with the funding so that when we have the opportunity to purchase these buildings, they are really the bridge that makes sure that there aren't any delays that sacrifice the opportunity for us to get a hold of these buildings for the people who live there. And so Rebecca Foster is the Chief Executive Officer of the San Francisco Housing Accelerator Fund, and she is here to say a few words. Thank you so much, so much for everything you do, Rebecca.
And we do our work very closely with Meta, so I'm going to bring up the great Meta team with us. And as the mayor said, you have to move at the pace of the market to get opportunities like this and to not lose the affordability for residents like the amazing residents here. And that's what we do. We work with amazing community-based organizations like Meta, and we provide the capital that they need to buy buildings like this that are at risk, and to rehab them and to make improvements to the buildings, and then for partner with the city to come in with the permanent capital that's needed to make them affordable for the 99 years that now this building will be affordable for. This is our 15th project, and with it we'll have deployed over $118 million since we were created in the mayor's office less than 3 years ago. And as Supervisor Fewer said, we need to triple down on this work and see so many more like this on the west side, and also are loving working with Meta and the supervisor on this effort to build more capacity for community-based developers out here to do more work like this.
My name's Caroline Fang. I'm Director of Community Real Estate at Meta, and this is Juan Diego Castro. He's the chief project manager that made this happen for all of these residents to be able to stay. As many of you have heard, it's a hustle to buy a building off the private market and to be able to make sure the residents are fully aware of what we're doing at the same time, while we're also keeping the seller confident that we're actually going to buy this building, and making sure that we have the financing first through Housing Accelerator Fund and then afterwards with the Mayor's Office of Housing Community Development. All this is what we've been able to do time and time again in the Mission Bernal area, and we're so excited that we can now bring this to other parts of the city, including the Sunset and the Richmond District. And as you have heard from Supervisor Fewer as well as from the mayor, we're excited that we can actually start doing this capacity building now that we have more legislation and funding to look at other parts of the city and really grow our small sites program to the big engine that could and really address displacement in our city. So thank you.
Thank you. And so I also want you to hear a little bit from some of the residents. So first up, we have Laura, who will talk about her experience. Thank you so much for being here, Laura.
Thank you. When we heard that the building was going to be for sale the second time within 2 years, we were kind of, oh my God, now what? But then when we saw the ad that they posted for sale saying this building was not rent controlled, it was like our hearts just dropped to our feet. What do you mean? We've been here 41 years. We've been under rent control. But they were going by the date of the occupancy that wasn't filed for so much later. But then we had a meeting, thanks to the San Francisco Housing Committee, and they introduced us to META, and we thought, META, what's META? And we read, and we thought, okay. But we still were concerned. We were kind of half and half about rent control. So we did the appeals. People's rents were raised, not everyone, but some. It got to be kind of heated, but then we realized that, I was here 41 years, but no one else has been. And that's when you kind of put aside things saying you do things for the betterment of all of us, not just yourself. And it meant a lot. We got it done with the help of, oh my God, partners. Sandra and Ian, my God, every time I had a question, I sent them an email. It was like the next day I got a response, as busy as their jobs were. I don't know how to thank them enough, but more so the mayor for backing this so much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Everyone, we're in our homes. We're not going somewhere else, and it just means so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. And now for another resident, Chloe, and one of the newest residents of 369 3rd Street, Alonzo Barak.
We found out that the building was for sale for the second time when I was pregnant 5 months with our baby, and Laura found out that it was not rent controlled the day after we found out it was going up for sale, which meant that sometime around the time I'd be giving birth, we'd probably be having either our rent hiked up or having some new landlord evict us out so that they could, tear it down or put a bunch of people who wanted to spend a lot of money to live here. And I just decided no. I was not going to be moved out of my home. I was not going to let that happen to the rest of our tenants in our home. we're part of what makes the San Francisco heartbeat what it is. And this building is full of families and retired people, and it just wasn't going to happen. And I'm just so grateful that there was so much support and so many passionate people who are putting all their effort into keeping San Francisco what San Francisco is supposed to be. Very passionate people. So I just, I can't say enough, and I want everyone out there in this city to know that you don't have to feel paralyzed. I felt very paralyzed when this all came to be. I did not know where to turn. It just happened to be that I got a postcard from Impact the next day, and I just happened to call them instead of throwing another postcard away in the mail, and that whole ball, got the whole ball rolling. And you don't have to be, you're not a victim. We're not victims. We are people who are backed by amazing humans who have big hearts, who are here to keep this city the way it's supposed to be. So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And he says thank you too.
Well, there you have it. Some good news for a change in San Francisco. And so I know, I know we have real challenges in our city, challenges that so many people work on every single day to address. And because of an amazing group of people, we've been able to create just a little bit of a good opportunity here for so many people who deserve it. And I'm so grateful to all of the people that played a role in getting us to this point. It took a village, and now that village is a home for Alonzo Barak for years to come. And I'm just so grateful to everyone who just really rolled up your sleeves and made it happen. And I can't wait to continue to do more acquisitions like this all over San Francisco. Thank you to each and every one of you for braving the cold and the rain to be here. But it's worth it. And we still got more work to do. And I know with Supervisor Fewer pushing for these types of acquisitions on the west side and all over San Francisco, we're going to be able to do more to make sure that we are saving people in their existing housing for generations to come. So thank you all again for your support and being here today.